Welcome to episode 13. So I've had the limestone running. 5 of the belts are looking good. This one has got a problem, as you can tell. You know what it probably is? It's probably the old building. The old building is still connected because I was out of resources. Oh, this is terrible. We're not going to do this again. And on most of it filled up and stopped. So even though it's connected, it's not doing anything. But I bet we're still drawing concrete or limestone in to make concrete. Yep, it's still hooked up. Okay, we don't need concrete in this building anymore. Thanks. That should fix it. All right, let me get back to the factory real quick. All right, I think I'm almost ready to do the sulfur and the coal. So got to make a decision here. So the steel all the way at the far end, I'm on a lookout tower so I can see that far. See, I do need like a conveyor, or not a conveyor, a catwalk up here so I can see everything. I could even put an elevator stop in that would drop you off at the catwalk. That would be cool. So the steel down there goes to there, but eventually it'll go to there approximately. So that's, you know, pretty full. The iron goes all the way to the end. The Caterium goes almost all the way. The copper goes, you know, pretty far, 3/4 of the way. The crystal here, it only goes 1 bay deep, right? And I don't know that that's enough. I might need to add more. I might need to add more on one side and not on the other, or whatever. We'll have to, once I start using it, I'll figure out how to balance it and what I need. The limestone goes down almost all the way, so that's good. So then we're ready to make, we're ready to bring up the coal and the sulfur. It's not that sign, it's this sign. So the 2 things we can make are compacted coal and black powder. The black powder I want to make my nobelisks, which are my explosives, my little grenades, and I want that obviously, and I want to produce them. And the other, the compacted coal, so the truck route starting down here and then driving all the way up into that cave and spiraling up through that cave, however it does, and then ended up here, and you can see it's right there now. And there's nothing to fuel him up there. And then he comes all the way back down. And with just regular coal, the tractor was making it back to base, whichever one of these is base. Oh yeah, right there, with 10 or 11 coal out of 100. So it was using 90 on the trip. So the compacted coal, and I did start producing compacted coal between episodes down here, just like real quick. I pulled the coal and the sulfur off. I got one assembler. It's making the compacted coal. It's sitting on this belt, and then that belt is going down and it's going into the truck station just so that we can do that. And with the compacted coal, I don't know how I can get back up. See, I do need stairs on this end. With the compacted coal, they can drive all the way there and all the way back. And I took that stupid ladder out. Anyways, they can drive all the way there and all the way back with the compacted coal. And the compacted coal basically lasts twice as long. So they're coming back with like 55 or 60 or something. So they're using way less than half, which is awesome. So we're going to make the compacted coal now. So they're using 40 compacted coal, and that round trip there and back, oh gosh, it must take at least 5 minutes. And yeah, we're using 40. So I don't know, we're using like 8 compacted coal a minute or something. And then for the Nobelisk production, again, we don't need that much. But what we've got to start with, wrong sign. I've got 240 coal a minute from this coal node. I've got 120 sulfur from the sulfur node. So we're going to take the coal and the sulfur. We're going to bring it up here. We're going to use 30 coal and 30 sulfur to make 60 black powder. The 60 black powder is going to be enough to make 30 smokeless. Eventually, we don't even have that recipe yet, and we don't have anything that uses it. But eventually, we'll want rifle ammo, and the 30 black powder is going to make us way more rifle ammo than we can use. And the other half of it, the other 30 of the 60, is going to make 15 of these a minute, which again is way too much. That still leaves us 210 coal and 90 sulfur. Well, in order to make the compacted coal, it's 1-to-1. So we only got 90 sulfur. We can only use 90 coal. So we're going to come over here, 90 coal and 90 sulfur. It's It's going to make 90 compacted coal a minute. And I just said I think I'm using like 8 a minute, maybe 10 a minute. So I could run 5 of the sugar cubes with that much. So again, that's way too much. That still leaves us 120 coal a minute for nothing. I could take some of the iron. I could take half a belt of iron and combine it with that, and we can make some more steel or, you know, whatever. We'll figure it out. We're going to have a lot of extra coal. We only need, though, in order to make the 60 black powder and then the 90 compacted coal, I need 2 assemblers for black powder and 4 assemblers for compacted coal. Yeah, I only need 6 of them. So every other one, we've done 1 item and 1 item. And so in my mind, I was like, okay, we're going to do compacted coal and we're going to do the black powder, or one or the other, or whatever. But I only need 2 assemblers and then 4 assemblers. So I could probably do it in 1 row. And then instead of doing the SAM there, we could do the SAM here. And then we could do something else there. It wouldn't be off a raw resource. It would be off of something we're already making, either ingots or concrete or the steel or, you know, whatever. So we could make our first actual thing down here. So I guess we should do that. I'm going to need a blueprint. Well, I don't need a blueprint. I could just put it down manually. It's only 6 of them, but we're going to be using assemblers upstairs. I'm going to make a blueprint, and ideally we'll set the blueprint up where it can have a roof on it, just like those can. So if I need to, obviously not here, we're not going to need it, but if I need to, we can put a roof on it. So I'm going to make that off camera, and I guess we're just going to put 6 of them in 1 line. I don't see any reason not to. It does mean I'm making 2 different things in this line, but they both take coal and sulfur. So, and I'm never going to expand it. All of these other ones are going to get expanded. I don't foresee ever needing more than 60 black powder a minute. I don't really foresee needing more than 90 coal a minute, because when we really start moving stuff around the map, we're going to use trains and not trucks or tractors or anything. So let me go make an assembler blueprint real quick. So got a bit of a problem with the blueprint. So this is the assembler. No. Yes, this is the assembler. This was the constructor blueprint, and I just deleted everything out. And like, obviously we're gonna have to change these things, but I was trying to see, I want the output belt here. I've got a space here because that is where the big, you know, one of those things are. So I kind of need it in right there, and I need that one there. And then the center, I tried to set it to where there was a tiny gap between these. And then each one could be the same thing, or they could be different, right? Well, trying to put it in here, I've got this about as close as I could possibly put it. Come back here. Yeah, if that one was moved over, you could probably get it in. But this one, I need room for a conveyor lift to go up to a higher belt and pull stuff down and in. That's not going to fit. And I don't necessarily want it that close. I mean, I would like a little bit of a gap like that. So there's no way we can do this 3 wide. I think we're going to have to do it 1 wide. And I mean, for the assemblers, it should be fine. We're not going to have a situation because this will hold 1 belt, 2, 3, 4, technically 5 if you had to, but whatever's up here has to be short. But definitely 4 items. Well, the assembler only has 2 inputs. So if you had something here that took 2 and you had some different production here that took a totally different 2, that's 4. That doesn't account for if you need 2 actual belts coming in. Like I need 2 belts of iron ingots coming down the line, or, you know, whatever. I don't want to just have 1 row of assemblers down the middle. That's kind of a waste of space. When we get to the bigger machines, yes, that's why the bay is 6 wide. Because you could put a manufacturer, which is pretty big, in here and have plenty of room for input and output. Oh, and yeah, so I'm back in the creative world, right? And this is where I was experimenting. Here's the, that's the regular, the smaller steel cable. And here's the H-beams. And I did an X, but I mean, the cable, you can't really do that with the cable. So that was just an experiment. Oh yeah, and there's one of the new doors. Yeah, don't pay attention to that. All right, let me figure out how I'm going to do this because I don't know. one little blueprint tip. If you're doing a blueprint, and I put these down and then I'm gonna delete them afterwards. But when anytime you're doing a blueprint for foundations, always use this texture. And you want to make them all go the same way. Because when you switch it to a different texture like this texture, it doesn't matter which way it faces, they look identical, right? Well, let me find, I don't know that any of these are going to be. Okay, so those two are different, but when I do concrete foundation, they're identical. There's no way to tell. The problem is certain things snap to that differently. So for example, the metal beam. Okay, see how it's, well, I'll just put one down. See how it is there? Now watch. Look, it snapped like that. And it snapped like that because this foundation's going one way and, well, that foundation's going one way and the other one's going the other way. So anytime you're making a blueprint, use this texture, make sure they're all the same. And then if you were going to turn it to concrete or asphalt or whatever, then go ahead and do it. Just because some of the things snap weird. Well, so I can make it work. This is where this needs to be, down the center, right? It's where all the other ones are. There's a belt in there. I can just get it in. And it's in there. Can't really see what it's doing. Over here, this one's fine. But then for the lift, that worked. It connected to both of them. It is connected. But I cannot see any part of what's going on this one. So you'd be able to see stuff going down and you'd see that there's less of it here. But you can't, you know, I like seeing the stuff go in the machine because that's sometimes how I can tell there's a problem. I can't do anything about the middle because this is the dead center. And if I moved it this way, it would make that side smaller. So these have to be here. The thing is, I might be able to move this, and you can see these are on the center of the foundation. I might be able to move it out one. And the reason for that, right? It's back because you can tell there's the merger, right? And it comes down and it doesn't clip. But we're not going to have a merger at that point because the blueprint goes to there and stops. So we would have to have a merger halfway off the blueprint, which we can't do. So if we came to this side, instead of putting it there on the center of that foundation, what if I came one over, right? Because I just said you can't have a merger there. It's halfway on the blueprint and halfway off. If you move it to there, right? And then you had your conveyor come out straight, it doesn't matter if then it's set up like that, because we're never going to have a merger right there, and that doesn't clip. That's not much space to work with. That would be moving this. That would be moving that there, which would then let me move this here. Let me get rid of these two. So if that was the same, because that's half a movement. So before we were, I think we were there. I could make a half or I could make a full. So that would give us the bare minimum here. And yeah, those are hard to connect. It shouldn't matter though, because it's in the blueprint. They are difficult to upgrade, but I don't know that when we upgrade our belts, it'll be the main belt that'll get upgraded because it'll feed more machines. We're not going to upgrade a belt going into the machine. So that right there, right, looks good. I do not know. And I think before I snapped it to that, and then yeah, it snapped to that. And I think the shroud is still going to extend out farther. So that, if I push that any more over, we're doing it there. If I did it over more, yeah, that's definitely going to clip. It's only going to clip the bottom belt that little tiny bit, but still, it's going to clip. I guess we'll just have to go with this. I mean, that's workable. This looks a little better. You just can't see what's going into it. I guess that's the way it'll have to be. And I just randomly picked this spot. I'll have to figure out how to put 4 in, because I'm going to guess that it's not just randomly. Yeah, I know that's backwards, but I'm going to guess I just didn't randomly pick a spot where 4 would go in. So let me finish the blueprint up and then we'll come back. Okay, I think I'm done with the blueprint. I thought I'd explain it here in creative mode since I can fly around. So we kept it exactly like I was planning. I only have 1 output belt because honestly, a 270 belt should be enough for what assemblers are making. But if not, I have plenty more room to have more output belts if we needed a whole bunch. I did have to shift all this over a little bit, which means this is cantilevered because normally it's centered, right? That's like my support for the catwalk. So I did shift it over, but I built in. So on the other ones, I had, you know, some beams, and I had to do the same thing here. Even if I had infinite nudge, I can't turn this thing upside down on this like I did because it was going to go through the machine. And also this one's a little odd. Almost all the other machines, the power is on the input side, and this one's got it kind of on the output side. So what I did, and the other thing is I always put these in, right? So that if we do need a second floor, and by second floor, I mean like a floor right in there, I can put one in. Well, what I just did was incorporated it all together. On the outside, I went ahead and ran the painted beam up, ran the horizontal beam, which, I mean, it was supposed to give me a spot to put the power outlets, but the power outlets kind of lined up with the beams. But when you look at it over here, it looks like it's supported, right? Like, yeah, you got support on this side, and then you got like a lot of support on this side. If we ever add the second floor, then the second floor blueprint will just start here for that one, and for these, it'll have to start there, right? So that's that. This is a little complicated to look at, but it's not that complicated. There's 4 belts. The first and the second belt are feeding this side. So you've got the first belt there, and then the second belt coming down, right? And it's just that over and over and over. And then this side is just the third and the fourth belts over and over and over. So we could, if we wanted to run 2 things down and feed all of it off of the same 2 things, I could have the first and the third belts the same. You know, there's different ways we could do it. Now, as far as auto connect, so on the outside, oh, I got a little belt sticking out there, and I got a little belt sticking out there on both sides. So those will auto connect. The back, I think, yeah, so the back I managed to get 4 belts on the back. The front, though, just by nature of trying to put 5 of these in instead of 4, I started right on the edge. I can't put a belt there. Won't let me. And can't put a belt there. But those 2 do. So those 2 will auto connect, and we'll have to make that connection on those 2. And then for the power, just to get them close together, because this one's close to the edge, I went ahead and ran this one close to the edge. So when we put 2 of them down, we'll just connect power from there to there. And all I have to look for is the 2 right by each other. So I think that's everything. I think it's all set up. I think everything's connected. I believe we're ready to build it. Of course, let's go find out because, you know, who knows? And I deleted the floor back. I could, the first time I tried to do it, I had problems. I had problems trying to put the things on the floor. So then I put the foundations down, built it, and then deleted the floor. And then I have to drop it by 1. I probably could have built this on the ground because I do have one of the blueprints for something is built on the ground. But I was reusing part of the old blueprint because I wanted to keep the height of the catwalks, because I cannot get this height again since we don't have infinite nudge. Because where it really wants to snap is slightly different. Well, I can't do it because I can't nudge it down, but it actually wants to snap slightly lower. And the reason these are all just a tiny bit higher than they should be is so these conveyor poles don't stick through. Because if you snap this to the normal grid and you snap this to the normal grid, you're going to have those 2 pieces at the top, like right in there, will actually pop through the floor. Just, yeah. So here we go. Let's figure out if this works. Slight change of plans. I forgot. So I did make the assembler blueprint, and we're going to use it somewhere. Definitely not here, though, because if you remember, and you may have caught this, and sorry, there's all these white lines. We need 6 assemblers, and we're just going to do 1 row. And then we were going to move the SAM from there to here. Well, the SAM takes constructors. So I took my assembler blueprint, and I deleted the assemblers, and I put constructors. And I had to change where the things are, and then it just comes off of 1 belt and the top belt there, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, long story short, so I have an assembler blueprint that's 5 and 5, and then I have this one that's 5 assemblers on the right, and then 5 constructors on the left. And I have no doubt that I'm going to get upstairs, and I'm going to need this blueprint, but I'm going to need it backwards, and I'm going to need the assemblers on the left and the constructors on the right. And so we need 6. So I already know I'm going to add another blueprint. If I had enough materials, I was going to add another blueprint. I don't know for the SAM or... what are we making? This stuff? 120. I'm going to guess that's a pure node, so we're only going to be 240. So yeah, we're going to need 2 constructors right now, and eventually we'll need 4, is what I'm getting out of that. I probably could just add 1 more assembler and not do the blueprint. It would probably be a lot simpler. All right, I'm trying to figure out how to hook this up. Obviously, we're going to get rid of this coal and this sulfur that's heading that way, right? And that's making the compacted coal, and the compacted coal is coming back here. We'll go ahead and use that belt, but further down for the compacted coal. So I don't want the coal down here, which works out fine because you can tell what it's doing right there. So we will go from there to here. Nope, that's silly. Okay, we need to... Hopefully I can do that 1 higher. I don't know that I can. That's as far up as I can go. Is that correct? No. Okay, well, it can either be slightly too high or slightly too low. I don't think I can vertical nudge this, right? Nope, can't do it. So it can either be there, or it can be down 1, which is, I think, where it was. Yeah, and that's too low. Okay, well, we tried. I mean, hey, it's better than it was. I'm just gonna leave it there, I don't care. Where am I going? Oh, to right there. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so we're gonna go to that one. So I need... Let me get rid of this compacted coal. Honestly, we don't... Well, the truck's gonna run out of fuel, isn't it? Yeah, the truck's gonna run out of fuel. Where's the truck at? I really should shut it off. Okay, it's coming back. Let me go wait on the truck and turn it off, because the last thing I want is for it to run out far away from base. So I'll come back once I've shut the truck off. Do it like that. 1, 2. Like that. Do it like this. Yeah, and then I think the straight will actually be straight. Yes. All right, so there's our coal and sulfur. So there's a Minecraft mod. The newer one's Mine Factory Reloaded. I can't think of what the original one was, but you had conveyors. They didn't look like this, but they were just flat on the ground. And if an animal or a hostile mob or something was on it, it would push them along. And it would also push the player along, just like these do, where I can't walk against it unless I'm over, basically off of it. And what the mod included was a special pair of boots. And when you had that pair of boots on, did this make it all the way? Yeah. When you had that pair of boots on, you could walk on the conveyor or stand still or whatever. And the conveyor, it basically, you just slid on the conveyor, right? So yeah, I kind of wish Satisfactory had something like that when you need to. And we do have that. So I would be fine if there was some other thing, a special pair of boots, and you took these off and you put that on. And then when you had that on, you could walk all along the conveyor and it didn't push you around. Just for stuff like that when you got to do a bunch of stuff on the conveyor. I believe this is going to work. Yes. And that. And these are Mark III belts, and we don't... Oh, we're going to have to split, though. No, we're not. No, we're not. Right, because we're doing it just in this row. So coal and sulfur. Obviously, something's wrong with the coal somewhere. I kind of noticed that downstairs. So the sulfur's on a Mark II belt because it can only make 120. But apparently when I was copying and pasting, some of the coal got on a Mark II as well. So that should be correct. And the coal's going to back up because we're not using all the coal. Now I got to take the long way around. Yeah, I really need something over here. Let me do that real quick. The only problem with this, I kind of buried the blueprint a little bit in the ground. And I'm going to be able to get that, but there's a bunch of pieces underground. Whatever. So we've got access to here now. And I can go up another floor. Not that I need to at the moment. Just want to make sure this lines up. And it does. All right. So that's our stair access. I'm not going to build an elevator over here. Oh, what were we doing? I don't even remember. I should probably switch this to a Mark II belt as well. Because otherwise it looks like there's something wrong and there's not anything wrong. Yes. Now I could switch this to a Mark II lift. And I could go downstairs and do Mark II and stuff. And then this is capable of supplying enough coal, right? But we're not going to use that much. So this will keep stopping. I would need to limit it or 120. So I could actually make that a 120 as well, couldn't I? It's the same thing. It's just visually it looks a lot better. Yeah, see, that looks way better. You look at that and you're like, that looks like it's working properly. I'm going to go downstairs and switch them to Mark II. And then the very last thing here, the SAM ore, which well, it's not the very last thing, so we still got that row. So the SAM ore, yeah, I'm going to have to go down there and, we're going to need a miner. We're going to need some power. We're going to need a way up. I wonder if I could get my stairs to go down there. That would be, you know, I don't need an elevator to go down there, although that would be cool, but I would like some stairs to go down. Let me switch these conveyors and then figure out if I can make the stairs fit. I'm not getting that far enough and I can't quite angle. It's going to stick to the arch. Wow. Okay. I love explosives. Close enough. Anything else in here? Yes. Should probably get the summer sloop.
I don't care how your factory looks, just make it efficient.
Wait, where is it? It's like under that. Okay. We gotta start collecting a bunch of these anyway.
Live, laugh, consume.
Why can't I spin a smaller amount? It spins to there. Yeah, holding control doesn't actually do a smaller movement. We'll just do it like this for now. I'll fix it when I get my infinite nudge back. I'm sorry if I keep complaining about infinite nudge. It's just... Once you get used to it, I want to put things exactly where I want to put things. We didn't bring power down either. Okay, let me just off camera because this is taking too long. off camera, let me figure out how to run some power down and run a conveyor up. I'm not even going to begin to tell you how many hours that just took. So I switched this out for the glass because, I mean, it's just, we're never going to come down here, but when we do come down here, it looks really cool. So, you know, that made sense. We'll get to that. Oh, that shouldn't be there either. I thought I deleted all those. So I've got the conveyor running from here to over here. One of the things I wish, and these are decorative, as you can tell, the angle doesn't quite line up. I was just doing this and kind of standing here and, you know, doing that and such. I really wish that these and the other ones, I want to just right there, boom, it just snaps to it and then goes down. Let me just snap to that. And the other one as well, right? That one. Let me just, boom, snap to it and then go down. That would be awesome. So I haven't connected the power yet. The power is somewhere. Power's up there. I don't know. It's gonna clip. Okay, we gotta do. Should have brought the power down the other side. So, God. All right, let me explain. So we had the stairs. I have got the conveyor lift going all the way up. There's a conveyor floor hole there, and one there, and then one at the top, because that's the only way I can make it go that long. And I really don't like it when you do this and then that to go up, because you can go up infinite length then, but I don't like that. So we're kind of cheating with the floor hole. Not really. So we've just got a couple random floor holes there. I've got this painted beam that runs all the way up. It's right next to where the catwalks are. There are a couple beams connecting with these, so it's connected to that. So there's one there, and I don't know, you can't see it. It's basically, it's about the same distance all the way up. So that carries that. The power is going down the side. We need to go up and fix that real quick. What I really need is lights down here. Okay, so that's there. Yeah, so that's gonna clip. Can I do the other outlet with... Will that go through the beam? It wants to go through the beam that way. Okay. Not quite. Again, infinite nudge. Infinite nudge. I guess we would do it like that. So we'll get rid of that one. We'll get the power to there, to here, and then from here to there. That should start sending the SAM up. Yep, it is. Okay. So let me run up. Oh my God. Let me run upstairs. Okay, of course it's nighttime. So that comes all the way up to there. We've got the catwalk. There are two beams. Right, so there's two beams that run from that, and the catwalk sits on top, and then the conveyor hangs below. Those go, and we've got a pillar there, and an A pillar and an A pillar, right, to help stop it swaying. These have got a little bit bigger concrete base. That one's there. That one's there. It looks a little funky. Ideally, there would be a little bit more painted beam down before the concrete, but whatever. So that's there. I did run that up a little higher and connect that there. And I was thinking, I could put like a little roof or something over that just to protect the stairs, but the power runs all the way back and goes all the way in. The conveyor runs and the conveyor runs up. So let's go upstairs. Okay, here's our SAM ore. I believe if we do that, did I do all these? I think so. Oh, I only need... That one takes 120. Oh, I thought I needed 4 of these. I need 2 right now. But why is the belt not... Oh, I know why. I know what the problem is. So eventually we're going to need 4. There's your problem. Okay, these 2 should take everything. I should be able to disconnect this. Those 2 will do 120. When we get the 480 belt... Oh, no, because that was a normal node. Yes. We'd have to wait till we had a Mark III miner. And then this one, absolutely, we should need. Okay, so that shouldn't really stop. It's kind of doing that, like, micro stutter thing for some reason. And this isn't even full. That doesn't make sense. You're 3, you're 3, you're 3. So that's 240 in. That's a 2. That's a 2. That's a 2. That's a 2. 2 does 120. This takes 120. Clearly not full. Clearly not full. Why is it doing that little micro stutter? It just... Is it a visual glitch? It should just run. Let me see what that does. That might have fixed it. It looks good. It looks really good. I really like how it looks. That was a lot of effort for no reason. All right. So I'm sure we're at the wrapping up point, but we do have one more bay, and there's no way... This is the second episode on this floor. We're going to finish this floor. So give me a second to figure out what I'm going to put there. I'm going to run a bunch of stuff, and then we'll come back. Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's try to wrap this up real quick. So I've decided what we're going to do in that very last bay is make steel beams. We're making 240 ingots. Eventually it'll be 480. The way the beams versus the pipes work, the beams take a lot more ingots, and we need a lot of beams. So of the 240, I'm going to take 75% of it, 180, and use that on steel beams. So all I've got to do, I've already got this going up, and we'll get to use the logistics floor for the first time. I'm going to take this, I'm going to connect it. It's going to go flying up to the logistics floor. I'm going to go up here. Take the elevator. I could have used the first row, but I wanted to show, because then I could have just come straight over. So I wanted to show what it's like in all the other rows. So we go up, we go over, and we come down, and then we have our lift here in the dead space, right? So then if it was this one, then the lift would be here in this dead space, and then it's heading down. And yeah, like, oh, you're going up and coming over and coming back down. That's kind of silly. Yeah, well, that's because the whole design was only the logistics floor was only going to feed the production floor above. So this would have come down and over and down. And then if we were going to feed something back up, it would come up and over and up. It wasn't going to go up, over, and down. So 2 of the production floors are going to work how they should. 2 of them are going to work like that. So you can see we've got all of this is going down. And so we're using 180 of the 240. The other 60 are going to go here to this. They're going to, well, I don't know where we're going to make beams. I'm not going to say that because I don't know where we're going to make beams. All right, so then the steel comes down to here. I could not... There should be a floor hole, but the rock is in the way, so I had to kind of move this over. So this is a little bit different, but... Grab this. Okay, that's going to feed our steel in. Now, in order to make the beams, the 180, These take 60 and they output 15. So we're going to use the 180 steel. I'm only making 45 beams a minute. I only need 3, so these two are disconnected. Eventually we'll get more steel going. I'll probably, you know, I'll be able to double the steel we've got, and we could use the 120 coal we've got left from over there. Well, from this stuff. And there's more coal. This, yeah. I can't fix this until I get infinite nudge back. There's no way for me to do this with the vanilla nudge. And there should be one here, and I literally cannot put that there because kind of the same thing. I need it to be centered. So yeah, that'll have to wait for infinite nudge. All right, so we should be making our 45 beams. The beams should be heading over and getting synced. And even though I said we're using 180, this is a Mark III belt. So 270's coming. So this is going to stop like this. There's not much I can do about that at the moment. When we start using the other 60, then it'll keep flowing because there won't be 240 coming down. It'll be 180. I'm just making sure. So these will fill up like real quick with ingots. All right. So I think that's it for the episode. It ran a little long, but we got a lot done. Actually, I don't know, did we? We only did 2 bays, but the first production floor is now finished. So what we're going to do next time, oh, and I can't even run up there. What we're going to do next time is we're going to go up here, and then we're going to take the stairs that don't exist, and we're going to start on the next production floor. I guess it's not 100% finished because what I did down there where I ran the output up, I need to do that. So that output needs to run up. These will need to run up. Those and those will run up, right? So I need to run all that stuff up, but I could probably just do that between episodes because it's literally going to be the same thing over and over again. I'll just show it at the beginning of the next episode. So yeah, next episode will be up on production floor 2. And we'll be able to make steel pipes. We're going to put all that iron to work and start making beams and plates and rods. And yeah. So that's the plan for next time.